near to our heart to topic called teaching, and it has impacted us in many ways, and we got impacted because of this in many ways. So I'm no expert in teaching, but I had some wonderful experience of teaching children. So I will share a few of my actual experiences, and I will talk about one or two teachers who has inspired me. And for the record, I have not met any of them. Not bad. So I am working in social development only, and initially and still also, I mostly work for children and education in and around. So sometimes when we go to teach children, we sort of think that they need our help, but we miss their point of view, which in many ways is very important. So when we started working with such children who lives in slums, who lives in very remote areas, or migrant children who are making bricks, all our so-called knowledge became very insufficient. We realized that we need to learn first, then only we can teach. So that's how our learning journey become as teachers. Like their lives are in many ways full of activities. So they live in areas where a lot of distractions are there, and those distractions are very colorful distractions. Loud music is playing, somebody is getting married, a lot of religious festivals, because these are mixed crowds. So we realized very quickly that our teaching method has to be interesting, because these children are not paying fees to come here. They are coming here to learn something which they are not learning in schools or their school dropouts. So our main sort of, tool was stories. Different small stories. Like, for example, we talked about Second World War before we talked about European history. To create an interest about nations in Europe, we realized that lesson plan in these kind of situations are very important. You need to go there with a plan which is not being boring, where you need to understand that you need to teach something for 15 minutes only, and after that you need to change. Also, we realized the importance of activity-based teaching, which was, for many of us, was a new thing, because the idea of teaching is one person is standing and narrating something and the class is listening. So we got sort of challenged in that. And then the last one, the children who make bricks, we really all got challenged who were part of the project, because these children work for almost 12 hours a day, and in between that they come to study for 2 hours. So we have to respect this dedication. So we talked about what we should teach them. We realized they spend their time around maximum 6 months in West Bengal, and they are from the migrant states of Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, and Bihar. So we decide we will teach them on weekly lesson plans, and we made lesson plans for different age group of students. So like when we are trying to sort of enrich their vocabulary, we realize that a lot of words in their life are not part of our life. So instead of what we know, we should teach them, we try to learn from them what they know. Like one great example is when we are trying to teach them mathematics, numbers became a bit of an obstacle in the beginning. They were finding it difficult. But somehow we reached a stage where we just introduced money. Instead of one, we said 1 rupee. And then we realized they know fraction better than us. Like if you go to a street vendor and tomato is 60 rupees, 650 grams, I need a calculator, I will tell you like this. So these children are also earning. So they have to calculate their earning also. So all these things, if I summarize in one sentence for us first, that we learned a great lesson before starts teaching any group which we believe that needs support. We have to invest our time to understand them, their life knowledge. So teaching people based on their life knowledge is something which I will say is the takeaway for all of us who work in these projects. That sometimes we go there with ready solutions, and whenever we have gone there with ready solutions, we have failed. Whenever we have invested ourselves to understand them, we have achieved some bit of success. So this is my personal teaching experiences of children in very different areas, remote areas, migrant workers, children in urban slums, and whatever I have become because of these experiences. These experiences have enriched me and helped me to understand social development from the point of view of the person we are trying to help. Otherwise, we have made great mistakes when we have gone there to kind of help them. So the next teacher that I will talk about is a person. It's a movie you guys can see in your time, but that's what not we are talking about. It's a person who wants to write a great musical piece, and that is called opus, a great musical piece. And this person is getting stuck. Life is not making him successful as a composer. So to survive, he takes the job of a music teacher in a school, always unsatisfied. He's not happy because he wants to become a great composer. He wants to write a great musical piece. But in this process of teaching, he realized that he is working with people who have no sense of rhythm. So teaching them the rhythm was the first step. And in this process, he realized that is also quite fulfilling. So there are a lot of students who need to pass a subject, vocational subject, where they were failing. So he took those children and said, okay, I will help them to pass the music exam. And that helped the child to complete the child's year. Otherwise, the child wouldn't have completed the school or didn't got the scholarship. That time the vocational board was not using the movie, but now I realize that it is that. And in this process, this lack what he has within, the craving of writing a big musical score, opus, was slowly getting filled. Then he realized his own child is deaf and dumb. So that was another problem for this person. That my only child will not be able to listen to any of my music. Then he was very upset one day. He was complaining to his wife. His son is a teenager. So his son came and explained to him that his son only listens to music by touching the music box with the vibration. And then the son also interacted with him. This song is good, this song is bad. So this was another learning for this person, that my entire idea about what you can learn, what you can share, second time got changed. So at the end of the movie, this person loses his job because school loses the funding for the music teacher. And in his farewell, the opus that he has wrote, which was never performed by all ex-students to give him a tribute. So if you get a time, you should see. It's a very remarkable movie, very offbeat movie, and the guy is also a great actor, Richard Dreyfuss. And in between, we can always talk if anybody has to add anything, or we can talk at the end, whatever you prefer.
Similar kind of French movie, The Chorus.
Yes, yes. So this is another situation where a guy is not getting a job anywhere, gets a job in a school which is quote unquote branded as the school of hooligan teenagers. And on top of that, all hooligan teenagers are white and the guy is black. So that added another dimension. The technique that these children use to bully their teachers is they ask inappropriate questions. And once the teacher fumbles or tries not to answer, they bully the teacher in such manner the teachers leave job. But this person needed the job and he took it as a challenge. So the only word that is highlighted, that was his realization. He stopped treating them as children and started treating them as adults. And he said there is no syllabus, no homework, no course curriculum. You pick a topic, you pick a word, we will discuss. So at the beginning they throw all the so-called dirty words, dirty ideas, whatever they have in their vocabulary, and the guy very gracefully answers. Now they are out of ammunition. Now for the first time the kids in a territory where they are unfamiliar. So then this guy started to teach life lessons, respect, values. So he took the method of teaching, which he changed here, the method of teaching. Then these children were doing schoolwork also. The school started to become, but he never said that we will do schoolwork. So he first gained the confidence by sort of asserting that whatever, in a very polite manner, asserting that whatever your queries are, I can answer them, but I have some additional to share. This is a movie about, I will say that, how teaching should be done. I mean, when I was a young person, these two movies really sort of inspired me. One person who was very frustrated, from teaching he found joy, and this person attacked this classroom as a kind of a war with a method. So two very different teachers in two very different journeys sort of achieved successes.
Great actor, Sidney Parisha.
Also for, since I am trying not to talk about Sidney Parisha, this is also the first incident in the history of Oscar when an African American actor won an Oscar. Before that, quote unquote, no black actor have won an Oscar. So in that way, this is also a very significant movie, and you can watch all the Sidney Poitier movies like Guess Who's Coming to Dinner and all this. So in many ways, it's a landmark movie, and I always feel that this is a movie which we can see also to sort of analyze a situation and approach a situation. This is a great example that he just simply changed the game. The weapon that the kids were using, he just take it away from them by just answering. So this is the only real life guy. This is an actual person. He was neutral, I had no chance to meet. He's the kind of guy I kind of follow, like my idol, Vasily Sukhomolinsky. Very difficult name to pronounce, that's right. So his idea of teaching was first that child should be happy. Child should like the school, and it should be the overall development, education. So all these modern methods which we see, a lot of people were trying that in the world, and he was one of them. Like pairing the weakest child with the so-called strongest child in the class. Trying to understand what the children want to learn. I mean, taking their feedback. Is the textbook okay? So all these kind of things were tried by Vasily Sukhomolinsky. And many considered him as one of the pioneers of the so-called modern education experiments. Another person was also there, he was also Soviet, his name is Mikhail Shakolov. So he did an experiment where there were a lot of children who were underperforming in mathematics. So he approached the Soviet education department and said that I want to build a residential school for children who are failing in mathematics. Now, Shuttle is such a big name that the education department couldn't say no to him. Say, okay, this 90 genius, allow him an experiment, and his argument was, I will take them at class 7, and for 8, 9, they will not appear in exam, they will appear in class 10. And he made a residential school, and for the first few months, he only discussed with the children what they like. Whatever they like. Football, painting, violin, whatever. So once that is established, they start learning that in the school. And then he said, okay, we will do mathematics with violin teaching. We will do mathematics with football. We will do mathematics with poetry. And after 2 years, when they appeared in the exams, they were the first of 10, 20 guys. But again, since you cannot replicate Shuttle, this experiment remained only with Shuttle. So these are some of the ideas we were thought that we should discuss and present with you. And now I will request every one of you to share any teaching experience where you become happy or you teach somebody, they got benefited, and then we will talk, keeping these people in the background. Anyone?
तो मेरे खुद के साथ हुआ एक इंसिडेंट है कि मैं मतलब क्लास 5 से लेके 8 तक मैं क्लास टॉपर था, बहुत बढ़िया पढ़ाई करता था, तो हर बार मॉनिटर भी मुझे ही दिया जाता था। तो क्लास 8 में क्या हुआ कि मुझे संस्कृत चूज करना था, तो इसीलिए मैंने डी ग्रेड ABCD, तो डी ग्रेड मैंने चुना कि संस्कृत है, और वहाँ सेमी इंग्लिश नहीं था। मैंने सेमी इंग्लिश के एग्जाम दी थी, लेकिन मुझे उन्होंने अलाउ नहीं किया बैठने के लिए उस क्लास में, इसलिए मैंने डी क्लास चुनी संस्कृत के लिए। और उस क्लास में पूरे स्कूल के सबसे जो नमूने होते हैं वो सब उसी क्लास में मेरे साथ, और मैं भी उनके साथ बन गया नमूना पूरा। और 8th और 9th में हमने इतनी ज्यादा शरारतें की स्कूल में, जहाँ भी झगड़ा हो जाए हमारे क्लास में आते थे और हमें भी पीटना शुरू कर देते, कुछ भी कहीं भी हो जाए, कहीं भी। हमारे यहाँ 12 स्कूल है एक कैंपस में, तो 12 स्कूल्स में कहीं भी अगर 5th का बच्चा भी झगड़ रहा है तो उन्होंने ही किया है, तो उनको जाके मारा, तो ऐसा होता था। तो क्या हुआ, हमारे हेडमास्टर चेंज हो गए, सूर्यवंशी सर करके उनका नाम है, और मैं उनकी बहुत दिल से रिस्पेक्ट करता हूँ। और उन्होंने किया क्या, जैसे आपने एक एग्जांपल बताया कि मैथ्स विद म्यूजिक, मैथ्स विद, तो वो मैथ्स की टीचर थी, और हम सब लोग मतलब मैथ्स में सबसे ज्यादा कमजोर, बाकी सब्जेक्ट में तो थे ही, लेकिन मैथ्स में तो बहुत ज्यादा। तो उन्होंने क्या किया, मैं खुद पढ़ाऊंगा बोला इन बच्चों को। मतलब हेडमास्टर कभी पढ़ाता नहीं है 8th 9th को, वो 10th को पढ़ाता है, तो लेकिन उन्होंने बोला मैं पढ़ाऊंगा इन बच्चों को 8th में। और वो आए और उन्होंने वो सब्जेक्ट बीच सेमेस्टर से ही शुरू कर दिया। पहले सेमेस्टर में हम लोग मतलब आधे से ज्यादा लोग तो फेल थे, और जो भी पास हुए थे वो 30 मतलब 37 35 यहाँ तक आके पास हो गए। तो उन्होंने पढ़ाना शुरू कर दिया, तो वो ऐसे ही पढ़ाते थे, स्टोरी टेलिंग भाई, उनके खुद के एक्सपीरियंस जर्नी बताते थे। वो आप क्या करते हो, तो आपके पिताजी क्या करते हैं, तो उनके रिलेटेड कुछ एग्जांपल्स थे कि अलग अलग वे से हमें अप्रोच करते थे, मैथमेटिक्स वहां तक लेके जाते थे। और उस साल का रिकॉर्ड ये बना कि पूरे स्कूल में 100% पासिंग परसेंटाइल हमारे क्लास का आया, और सबसे लोएस्ट जो था उसको मिले थे 80 मार्क्स।
अरे वाह।
और बाकी सब जो थे जो बॉर्डर पे आके पास हो रहे थे वो सब 95 प्लस।
अरे वाह।
और मैं खुद उसका एक एग्जांपल हूँ कि मुझे भी उतने मार्क्स मिले लाइफ में फर्स्ट टाइम मैथ्स में। और वो पूरा क्रेडिट उनको खुद को जाता है कि उनका जो टीचिंग का तरीका जो था वो हमें पसंद आया। और क्यों पसंद आया, क्योंकि उन्होंने हमसे रिलेट करवाया वो चीज। मैथ्स कुछ डिफिकल्ट है नहीं, या फिर कमेंट्स है नहीं, आप रिलेट कर सकते हो उससे। वो कैसे रिलेट करना है उन्होंने हमें बताया, इसलिए हम सब लोग उस ईयर में टॉप किए सर।
थैंक यू। एनीवन एल्स, कोई नहीं?
अभी मैं इतना अच्छा स्टोरी टेलर तो हूँ नहीं।
हम सब अच्छे storyteller
आप है ना, सांगली, सातारा, कोल्हापुर ये जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट है ना, यहाँ पे कभी आप जाओगे तो ऐसे ही लोग मिलेंगे आपको जो बहुत रंगीन स्टोरी आपको सुनाएंगे। तो वो एक क्या आदत है सबकी। सो हमारा एक अभी मैं अभी जस्ट एक 7 साल हुए बाप बना हूँ। हर रोज कुछ ना कुछ नया सिखाने का ट्राई करता हूँ, या फिर सिचुएशन ही ऐसा है कि सिखाना ही पड़ता है। सो अभी रिसेंटली एक समर थिएटर कैंप में मेरी बेटी को एडमिशन लिया था हमने। तो वो एक 15 दिन का कैंप था। तो उसमें अलग अलग एक्टिविटीज थी, लाइक थिएटर में परफॉर्म कैसे करते हैं, बैक स्टेज क्या होता है, एक्टर एक पार्ट है थिएटर का, उसके पीछे डायरेक्टर के डायरेक्शन कैसे होता है, कैमरा कैसे चलता है, लाइट्स क्या करती है, वो सब एक्सपोजर उनको वो 15 दिन में स्टोरी टेलिंग, स्क्रिप्ट राइटिंग सब था। सो एक दिन उसको ड्रॉप करना पड़ा, 9 बजे उसका वर्कशॉप शुरू होता था। सो उसको ड्रॉप करके मैं यहाँ पे आता हूँ, ऐसे आता था। सो एक दिन उसने बोला कि मैंने पूछा कि कल क्या किया आपने, क्या होमवर्क क्या दिया आपको या फिर टास्क क्या दिया। तो बोले कि स्टोरी बिल्ड करनी है, तो स्क्रिप्ट कैसे लिखते हैं वगैरह वो समझाने के लिए। तो उसने बोला, मैंने बोला कौन सी स्टोरी है, आप कौन सी सुना रहे हो। तो उसने बोला कि मुझे सिचुएशन ये दिया गया है कि आप और एक फ्रेंड दोनों एक उसके घर में गए हो और खाने को कुछ नहीं मिला और आपने खा लिया। सो आपने कैसे सुना? मैंने ऐसे ही सुना है अपनी स्टोरी। सो मैंने वो कैरेक्टर बिल्ड कैसे करते हैं उसको, कि हम लोग एक दिन खेल रहे थे, सब स्टडी कर रहे थे और बीच में उसका फ़ोन आया मेरी फ्रेंड का। सो ये जो सिचुएशन का छोटे छोटे माइन्यूट डिटेल्स हैं जो हम लोग स्टोरी टेलिंग में भूल जाते हैं, वो जो स्टोरी बिल्ड करता है कैरेक्टर, कि फ़ोन आया, फ़ोन की रिंग बजी, मैं स्टडी कर रही थी, या फिर हम लोगों ने खाना बनाने के लिए हम खेल रहे थे। सो खेलते टाइम हमें भूख लगी, फिर बाद में 3 घंटे हो गए, तो 3 घंटे हम लोग खेल रहे थे। वो जो डिटेलिंग है वो हमने उस टाइम पे वो आधे पौन घंटे में डिस्कस किया था। नाउ अभी वो बहुत सारी स्टोरियाँ मुझे ही सुना रही। सो मैं जब घर जाता हूँ शाम को तो नई स्टोरी सुनने को मिलती है। सो इट्स लाइक वो एक अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस था कि कुछ तो सीखा है मैंने नया।
बिल्कुल। हमने कभी कभी ऐसे भी बच्चों के साथ एक्सपेरिमेंट्स किए हैं जो सो कॉल्ड हार्ड टू रीच बच्चे हैं, ऐसे हैं, या फिर जो स्लम्स में है कि जो अल्फाबेट्स है ना, मतलब क से लेके उसमें से हर एक को यूज करके एक कहानी लिखो और इसे एज ए ग्रुप असाइनमेंट, वो काफी कॉम्पिटिटिव हो जाते थे और वो मतलब जो कहानी लिख के लाते थे तो सच में हम लोग भी सरप्राइज हो सकते थे कि ऐसी भी कहानी हो, और हर कहानी आम जिंदगी के बारे में ही है। तो ये बच्चों को इंस्पायर करना ही मुझे लगता है टीचर का काम है, और उसको इंक्विजिटिव, मतलब इसका हिंदी क्या होगा, सवाल पूछने वाला इंसान बनाना है काम है। क्योंकि अंग्रेजी में एक कहावत है कि the hardest task is to raise the question. If you know how to raise the question, finding the answer becomes easy. तो इंक्विजिटिव बनाना मुझे लगता है कि टीचिंग का कोर वैल्यू है। Yes, anyone else? कोई नहीं, कुछ भी?
Yeah, I'd like to share. I think one of my turning points in life was when I visited this place called Tilonia. It is located somewhere in Rajasthan, Ajmer district. और वहाँ पे I have this fear of engineering or mathematics or any subject that has some complexity in it, which has some things like a plus b, x plus y. तो मुझे वो एक kind of anxiety होता है. But I happened to visit this place in Ajmer, very close to Ajmer city, called Tilonia, which they had something known as a barefoot institution. It was a very surprising moment for me because when I went there, there were close to 16 to 17 old women in the room, very specifically women. The complexity of this classroom is that every woman is selected from a native village in some corner of the world, and they do not know languages like English, Okay, bare minimum. They know their local language, but they have studied it without the use of textbooks, etc. This classroom is full of 16 women, Vietnam, Cambodia, Chile, and some of these areas across the very deprived, marginalized communities in the world. And to teach them, there is this person who does not know how to speak Hindi or English, who does not have any background in engineering or mathematics, who himself has taught himself the power of electronics and mathematics, etc., and is teaching this classroom full of 16 to 17 ladies to build a solar circuit, a solar panel in just color coding systems and binaries. That's it. And this was something that really changed my entire understanding of how education can be delivered by using problems and building solutions. And this course has created successful women, that is grandmothers. They're called solar grandmothers,
Surar Mamas.
solar mamas, and they are placed back into their cities where they go back home and gain that kind of respect because they have some kind of knowledge which is above and beyond people and communities in their center. Just by use of some kind of methodology, actually involve. This was one new change in my life. This was something I would like to share right now.
तो उस ब्रिकफील्ड प्रोजेक्ट में हम लोग जब काम कर रहे थे तो बाकी सब जगह की तरह हम लोगों का जो प्रपोजल था वो 6 से 14 साल के बच्चों के लिए दिया। फंडर ने भी हाँ बोल दिया। फिर हम लोगों को पता चला कि ब्रिकफील्ड में ना कोई फ्री नहीं है। ब्रिकफील्ड में जो 6 साल का बच्चा है वो अपने 1.5 साल का या 1 साल के सिबलिंग का केयर करता है, वो उसको लेके ही क्लासरूम में आएगा। अब ये बच्चे अपनी भाई बहन को पढ़ने नहीं दे रहे, तो फिर हमने फंडर्स को बोला कि हमें इन बच्चों के लिए थोड़े खिलौने खरीदने। तो ये फंडर की तरफ से एक ऑब्जेक्शन है, यार आप लोग ऐसे टॉयज कैसे खरीद सकते हो, यार ये कैसे जस्टिफाई करोगे। तो फिर हम लोगों ने थोड़ा उनके साथ झगड़ा किया और फिर बोला कि पेडागोजिकल टॉयज खरीदेंगे, शेप मैच करना, ये करना, वो करना। तो हम लोग तब 30 ब्रिकफील्ड्स में काम कर रहे थे, हर एक ब्रिकफील्ड में 70 से 60 बच्चे, तो हम हर एक ब्रिकफील्ड के 2-2 करके सेट, और अगेन बहुत कॉस्टली, बहुत अच्छा, किसी बहुत क्या कहते हैं हाई क्वालिटी इंस्टीट्यूशन से वुडन ऐसी चीजें हम लोग खरीद के लेके गए। जाके हम समझे कि बहुत कम लाए हैं और हम लोग बहुत ये सोच रहे थे कि ये क्या करें, इसका मतलब क्या सोल्यूशन करें। और एक्सीडेंटली वो एक फ्राइडे था और 2 दिन हम लोग बंद थे। मंडे को जब हम जाके पहुंचे देखिए वो सारे उस तरह के खिलौने बच्चों ने मिट्टी से बना लिए ताकि हर एक के पास हो। और वो लोगों ने रख दिया कि ये गंदा हो जाएगा सर, ये गंदा हो जाएगा, इसको इसका मिट्टी से। तो अगेन मतलब वो टीचिंग करते हुए हम लोग जब भी प्रीसेट माइंड से ऐसे, मतलब वो बच्चे खिलौने बना सकते हैं, मिट्टी अवेलेबल है, ये चीज हम में से किसी के दिमाग में नहीं आया। हम लोग लड़ झगड़ के 2 महीना हम लोग लगे, बहुत बड़ी विक्ट्री है, हम खिलौने का बजट लाए, हम कराए, उसकी जरूरत नहीं थी, वो लोग बहुत अच्छा खिलौना बनाते और मिट्टी तो फ्री है।
Yes.
Yes, anyone else? कोई भी कुछ भी ऐसा अपनी जिंदगी में पढ़ने का, स्कूल में कोई भी इंसिडेंट, किसी टीचर ने अच्छा सपोर्ट किया, किसी ने सपोर्ट किया, कुछ भी ऐसा। Anything? हाँ प्लीज, हाँ बिल्कुल।
तो 8th स्टैंडर्ड में था मैं। तो 8th स्टैंडर्ड एक हमारे यहाँ पे ऐसा पॉइंट माना जाता है कि मैक्सिमम बच्चे जो ए और बी ये रहती है, टुकड़ी जो रहती है स्टैंडर्ड में, 7th और 8th स्टैंडर्ड में, वहाँ के बच्चे सफलिंग करते हैं बहुत सारे। उसका रीज़न ये था कि वहाँ पे मैथमेटिक्स और साइंस पढ़ाने वाले टीचर्स अलग अलग थे। तो हमें जो मैथ पढ़ाया जाता था 7 तक, वो हमारे को समझ में नहीं आता था। उसके बाद 8 से 10 तक जो मैथ पढ़ाया जाता था, वो हमारे टीचर थे कि उन्होंने कभी भी चॉक लेकर ब्लैक बोर्ड पे जाकर वो पूरा एक्सप्लेनेशन सिखाया नहीं, या फिर उसे एक्सप्लेन करके बताया नहीं था। जो डिस्क्रिप्शन रहता था मैथमेटिक्स बुक्स में, वही डिस्क्रिप्शन हमें लिखने के लिए बोलते थे, वो बस पढ़ते थे, बहुत स्पीड से पढ़ते तो हमें बोला जाता था कि आप लिख लेना है और समझ लेना है अपने आप ही। मतलब वो टेक्निक्स वो यूज़ करते थे और किसी को भी मतलब समझ में नहीं आता था। हमारे गांव में क्लासेस चलते थे तो मतलब पूरा क्लास हमारा जो था वहीं पे ट्यूशन लगा था और वहीं पे क्लासेस वगैरह चल रही था। और उसमें मेरा एक ड्रॉबैक ये था कि मुझे मैथमेटिक्स से कोई थोड़ा भी इंटरेस्ट नहीं था, क्योंकि वो इंटरेस्ट कभी क्रिएट ही नहीं हुआ मेरे में। मुझे इंटरेस्ट था पोएट्री में, स्टोरीज में। तो 8वीं में मुझे एक हैबिट लग गई कि नॉवेल्स पढ़ना है या स्टोरी बुक्स पढ़नी है। और मैं लातूर से कभी बाहर नहीं गया था, मेरे गाँव से बाहर नहीं गया था, लेकिन एक किताबों की वजह से मैंने पूरी दुनिया घूम ली थी, पूरा महाराष्ट्र घूम गया था। इतना एक्सपोजर मुझे, इतना इंटरेस्ट उसमें लगता था। स्पेशली अगर बताया जाए तो अपना जो साउथ महाराष्ट्र है, जहाँ पे सांगली, सातारा, कोल्हापुर, वहाँ पे लिटरेचर थे, लेखक थे, राइटर्स, अन्ना साठे करके। तो उनका जितना वो लिटरेचर था वो सब कुछ मैंने 8वीं क्लास में ही पढ़ लिया था। और उसके बाद मुझे ऐसा लगा कि नहीं, दुनिया में बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग होंगे उनके बारे में हमें पढ़ना चाहिए। तो प्रेमचंद मुझे वहाँ पे ये हो गए 9वीं स्टैंडर्ड में। फिर 10वीं स्टैंडर्ड में मैथिली शरण गुप्ता आ गए। फिर ऐसे फिर करते करते मतलब वो मैं, मेरा जो ऑरा था वो पढ़ने का कोर्स का, वो मैंने पढ़ाया। गांव में 2 हमारे ये थे, लाइब्रेरी थे। दोनों लाइब्रेरी में जितने बुक्स थे मैंने सोचा था कि एक तो लाइब्रेरी कंप्लीट करनी है।
अरे वाह।
वो टारगेट रखा था मैंने। और 12वीं पास होने के बाद ये कॉन्फिडेंस आया कि मैं किसी भी क्षेत्र में जाता हूँ तो वो मुझे फटाक से उसमें मैं माहिर बन जाता हूँ या फिर उसमें स्पेशलाइज बन जाता हूँ। ये कॉन्फिडेंस मुझे वो रीडिंग से आया था। और उसके बाद मेरा जो लिखने का जो ट्रैवलिंग रहा था, तो 12वीं के बाद मेरा 1 साल ऐसे ही गैप रहा। जो कुछ हम डीएल वगैरह जो था यहाँ पे उस केस में उसका वैल्यू कम हुआ था तो मैंने वो कैंसिल कर दिया था। तो उस दरम्यान मैंने 2 नॉवेल्स लिखा था, 1000 ऑफ पोएम्स लिखा था,
अरे
डायरेक्शन किया था, डांस का डायरेक्शन किया था। फिर वो अपना स्किट जो रहता है स्किट लिखे थे। उसके बाद जो वर्क बोला जाता है यहाँ पे तमाशा करके बुक आर्ट है, तो उससे वो वर्क लिखना। फिल्में 2-3 फिल्में मैंने ये किया, ऑडिशन किया। तो वो सारा एक्सपोजर एक्सपीरियंस जो है ना वो मुझे बुक से मिला था। और फिर मैंने 2 नॉवेल्स बनाई है, लिखी है, पब्लिश नहीं हो पाया। मैंने बहुत कोशिश की कि हो नहीं पाया उसमें। तो मैंने अप्रोच भी बहुत बड़े लोगों से किया लेकिन कुछ नहीं हो पाया। लेकिन सीख सबसे ये अच्छी लगी मुझे ये सारे एक्सपीरियंस में कि रुकना नहीं है, करते रहना है। जितना आता है जैसे आता है बस एक्सप्लोर करते रहना है। ये केवल मैं लाइफ में लिखता था। ग्रेजुएशन के बाद मैंने मास्टर छोड़ दिया, मैंने डिसाइड कर लिया कि मुझे जाना है बाहर। और फर्स्ट टाइम हिंदी में बात करना, हिंदी लोगों के साथ रहना, इंग्लिश में पढ़ना, इंग्लिश में लिखना, ये सारी चीज़ें मास्टर्स में मैंने एक्सपीरियंस करी। और फिर मुझे एक और भाषा अलग अलग भाषा सीखना। तो अलग अलग भाषा का लिटरेचर जो पढ़ना है उसे लिखना है उसी भाषा में। तो वो एक एक्सपीरियंस या फिर वो हैबिट वहाँ पे क्रिएट हो गया। तो इस वजह से मतलब उसी के अकॉर्डिंग फिर मेरा स्टोरी ये वहीं से शुरू हो गया कि मुझे घूमना है, बहुत जगह पे जाना है, वो कल्चर एक्सप्लोर करना है, फूड एक्सप्लोर करना है, लोगों को एक्सप्लोर करना है, उनके बारे में लिखना है। अभी भी मैं लिखता हूँ। तो वो जो जर्नी है मेरा, स्पेशल इंटरेस्ट है, वो बरकरार है अभी भी और मैंने उसे छोड़ा नहीं है। तो मैंने मेरा जो इंटरेस्ट है वो चुन लिया था वही पे 8वीं में, और वो अभी भी मेरे साथ है। दैट इज वेरी नाइस फॉर मी।
तो ऐसे जो सेटअप्स में जहाँ पे हम लोग काम करते थे वहाँ पे एक प्रॉब्लम हमेशा आता था कि अलग अलग एज के बच्चे, अलग अलग लेवल के बच्चे एक साथ में आते हैं। और इस चीज को मल्टी लेवल मल्टी ग्रेड ये कहा जाता है। इसकी ट्रेनिंग भी काफी इंटरेस्टिंग है। लेकिन एक्चुअली इसको करने के लिए तुम्हारी कुछ सोच चाहिए। तो बहुत जगह पे हम लोगों ने ट्रेनिंग देने की कोशिश की और वो ट्रेनिंग को एग्जैक्टली जाके क्लास में करने की कोशिश की। तो एक जगह पे मैं जाके रिजल्ट को देखा, उन्होंने काम करोगे, एक का नाम है तुम बैठ के रीडिंग पढ़ोगे, एक का नाम है तुम खेलोगे, और एक कुछ और क्लास में आने के बाद बच्चों को उन्होंने ग्रुप्स में बांटा और लॉटरी किया, जिसको जो मिला वो उस खाने में जाके बैठा और वो करने लगा। अब ये रूम के अवेलेबिलिटी ऊपर डिपेंड करती है। ये जो सोचा उसने, हम लोगों ने जितने भी उनको मल्टी ग्रेड मल्टी लेवल के ट्रेनिंग्स वगैरह जो भी हम इधर उधर पढ़ के इंटरनेट से कॉपी करके जो भी हम लोग बना के सिखाए थे, हम में से किसी को ये नहीं आया कि वो अपने रूम को ही इस्तेमाल की। बाकी जो सारी हम लोग की थ्योरी है वो पता है, वो ठीक है, लेकिन उनका ये जो तो अगेन मतलब वो आदमी पढ़ाना चाहता था, उसने सॉल्यूशन ढूंढने की पर्सपेक्टिव से चीज को देखा। हमेशा जरूरी नहीं है कि उसको कोई हार्ड थ्योरी से बैक करना है। वो जो सिडनी पॉइंटर वाला जो एग्जांपल था, उनको उस सिचुएशन को एड्रेस करना था, उसने सोचा कि इनके सवालों के जवाब देना ताकि ये खत्म हो जाए। यस, एनीवन एल्स?
I'd like to ask you a question.
यस।
It's very fascinating to see कि आप इतने open type of education system से आए, because I still want to explore your mind about how you kind of came to, you know, like the usual system of coping with real society. So how did you bring up your child? Like, was there something that you implemented in your girl?
Should be another hour.
But how did you make a choice of her learning patterns?
Okay.
Now,
Very
what did
simple.
you teach her about
Very simple.
learning?
So I had a great childhood, no complaints about that. The only problem I faced was that finding jobs due to lack of paper quality. That was the obstacle. So that's the first thing me and Shagota we sort of discussed, that we will send her to a school which will be a local government school in Bangla medium. First of all, it's cheap. Next, teachers mostly not available. So she will have a lot of free time. No pressure, that's not a big school. So no pressure on her, but she will get a certificate after class 10. And we sort of encouraged her to watch movies, read anything and ask any question. So we kind of sort of set this between me and Shagota that there will be no so-called censorship. Whatever she will ask, to the best of our ability, we will try to answer. And we never planned any future for her. So there was a band in England which is now no longer performing together. The name was One Direction. It was kind of a popular teen band. She became a fan of them. And that time there was a culture in the internet which is called the fan fictions. Fans writes books. She was from a Bengali medium school and in that way. So she got hooked into that. And then we realized that she is reading even 200 pages in a day. So we never sort of restricted her time on the internet and other things. So in that way we always try to stay open with her and try to support her as best as to our ability. And she is going to complete her graduation on 23rd, and then she will go for masters. And
Wow.
she is following literature only, so she is
Very
very
nice. Good to
So
hear.
in one line, open and honest with your child, and I believe as parent you should talk about your failures to your child,
Yes.
not your successes. Because then you pose yourself as a superhuman. I have done only good things. Only talk about your failures, the mistakes that you have made, the stupidities that you have done, the failures. Then the child will also tell you his or her failures. Because that is the one area where many children struggle. They can't tell their parents about their failures, their mistakes. So that's it. Be the best friend of your kid. So it was a great session. Our time is coming up, so I will request Milind sir and ma'am one by one, sir, you, and then ma'am to say a few words about your school also if you want. How good you are in the school, how many teachers to transfer because of you.
Nothing of that sort.
Good storytellers from South.
Nothing of that sort, but yes, I can share. When I joined life insurance as a profession, I was I mean, she was into insurance training at that time, and she also knew that how difficult it was to train him because nobody wanted to be trained, and that is how I took the challenge. And I also used different methods, not giving lectures or a plan and to calculate IRR and how it is better as compared to FD. I never used to do that. The entire teaching what I did to my agents was only stories.
Wow.
And again, I collected so many claims during my training period. No? I just went to the claims department and picked up all the claims which were settlements. And out of that, I made the stories. And
Wow.
that is how I started teaching my agents. And then slowly, from my team, I started. I was asked to train other agents like that. And then ultimately, in 2006. It got into this thing that no Indian was called for giving a lecture in US, which is called $1 million roundtable, and that was me who got invitation to speak.
Wow. I'm with you.
So I would like to share something about my grandfather actually, who was a teacher. And as you grow and probably hopefully become wiser, little wiser, I think you understand the small things like you told about quick lines and all that. So he was I don't know, but his whole multi-skilling. As I look back and think more about him, I think it started from him. Like it started there. The number of things that he could do. I mean, because Prashant is talking about Sadhara, Sangli and all that. So he was a great kirtan maker. Okay? In the evenings he will go to temple and do the kirtan, like Gita and all that, converted into Dhaneshwari, which is the Marathi version of that and all that. He was a great agriculturist. He was good in Sanskrit. He was good in maths. He was a teacher of Sanskrit and maths. He was an education inspector, very revered person in that area. And then we had an opportunity to be with him during the vacations. Like we used to go and be with him for a month, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. Then we're talking about motivation and all that. So it used to be a lot of fun, but then we never knew at that time what he is teaching us or what is the bottom line of whatever he was trying to do with us. So getting up early, like it's holiday, so you want to sleep for longer time. So he used to use this care. There were a lot of plants and this and that. There was a bay tree, and which is very nicely kind of right on the ground, and those are the sweetest berries. So he, of course, he used to get up before us, and he will collect those berries and kind of collect them. And then for us, there was a public yard, 5, 6 of us, like me and my brother and sister, my aunt, her children, my uncle, his children, and all that. So all of us used to have a chart there on the wall, which is visible to everyone. सबको मालूम होना चाहिए क्या चल रहा है. So right from when did you get up early morning, or did you do this Surya Namaskar? Did you recite this? Did you study this? Those kinds of things. So, and everyone has to mark. It is like honor system. So you do your duty yourself. Nobody is going to watch, but because it is public, it is as good as you are judged by not only one person, but one teacher, but probably 5, 6 of them. So his incentive of the incentive for us to get up early was the one who will get up first. We get a large chunk of those days.
Wow.
Okay, and the next one is small. And then of course the one who will get late,
Will not
get
get
anything. So So that was his trick of kind of making us get up early and then provide a small incentive of he himself getting up early and collecting those things and this. So that was something which you have to provide an incentive, but incentive not for the sake of incentive, but for with some purpose, with some
Absolutely.
yeah. So that was one thing, and secondly, I mean now we are talking about agriculture, जहाँ agriculture का कोई नहीं है शायद, लेकिन रुराली है, yes. So I think this whole drip irrigation system, those days तो का नाम भी नहीं था, but then he had practiced that drip irrigation system in his little farm which he had established those days and created it by himself using this bamboo and all those things. So really a genius, and just watching him and learning all these things through these small it was a feast. I mean now looking back it was a feast. And you learn a lot of things with him, through him, and great influence even today.
So, thank you everyone for the participation, and I hope it will increase and it will inspire you people to share your stories. So, next time, I think we're going to have a very star guest who's going to be the host of this session. So, round of applause right now for Melinda. But the topic and other things will be surprised in the original Melinda way. You have to be here to know that. So I have already booked my place. Thank you sir for saying yes.